smoke from distant cannon fire curled over the field hospital tent, where another young soldier was dragged inside, his shattered leg leaking life onto the trampled mud. Inside the tent, Surgeon Captain Orlan lifted a rusty saw over the soldier's bare thigh. 4 assistants pinned the screaming body down.
Please, no, I'll die. Just kill me. Just kill me now.
Stop. Put down the saw. I can make him sleep.
Sleep? Boy, this isn't a nursery. The only thing he'll feel is the blade, if he's lucky.
I can distill a vapor from wine and vitriol that plunges a man into a painless trance. Give me one chance.
Orlan's jaw tightened. He had seen too many boys die screaming to trust a stranger's promise. But the man's ice-blue eyes held no desperation, only certainty.
Sulfur, strong alcohol, a flame. If I remember the ratios right, I can make it. The soldier might have an hour.
Tomoya scavenged the camp for salves and solvents, hands moving with a knowledge no one else in this world possessed. The wounded soldier's breathing grew shallow. In the tent, Kale lay strapped to the table, eyes wide and pleading. If this odd assistant failed, the saw would finish the job, and the boy might never wake again.
The vapor is ready. Let him breathe this from the cloth cone, and he will remember nothing of your saw.
If your potion fails, I'll have your head alongside his leg, and that's a promise.
Breathe deeply, soldier. Think of home. Let the vapor carry you there.
A strange, sweet smell. The world spins. Mother, am I already dead?
The soldier's lids drooped. His clenched fists loosened. For the first time, the tent fell silent without a scream.
He's out? Completely?
Proceed. He feels nothing. He is beyond pain.
The saw bit through flesh and bone, but the boy on the table did not flinch. Orlan worked swiftly, unaccustomed to such stillness.
Is it over? I don't. It doesn't hurt. How is this possible?
Orlan stared at the stump, then at Tomoya. He said nothing, but his silence was the loudest sound in the tent. Something had changed, and every man there knew it. By dawn, another wave of shattered men flooded the tent. Tomoya stood among the blood and cries, then shouted commands no one had given before.
Those who can walk outside. Gut wounds wait. Hopeless cases, move them to the far wall. I will not waste time on the already dead.
You abuse my trust. A true surgeon fights for every man. He doesn't sort them like spoiled meat.
Your saw kills half of them from shock before the wound festers. I give the salvageable a chance. That is the true surgeon's arithmetic.
Orlan's jaw worked silently. He had no words, only a grim nod. The sorting began, and for the first time, the tent functioned with brutal purpose.
Now, watch. The rot that kills men after surgery is a poison from invisible creatures. Fire and boiling water kill them before they kill the patient.
Then I will boil every blade and bandage myself. If it saves even one more boy, I swear it.
Days bled into nights. Soldiers who once screamed for their mothers now whispered for the sleep surgeon as they were carried through the flaps.
Tomoya, I have kept the tally these 10 days. Your ways, half as many dead. I do not understand it, but I cannot argue with a filled cot.
Orlan's conversion was only the first. Beyond the canvas walls, the whispers of a painless death had reached a general. The world outside was about to demand proof. General Aldrich entered the field hospital unannounced, his scarred face scanning the orderly chaos with sharp, measuring eyes.
I've heard impossible tales. A surgeon who makes men sleep before the knife. Show me.
Follow me, General. The proof sleeps on those cots.
Aldrich walked among the silent wounded, the missing limbs, the clean bandages. He stopped at a young soldier who smiled up at him, painless.
I've seen 100 field hospitals. None like this. The Emperor must know.
Within a fortnight, a royal dispatch arrived. Tomoya was summoned to the capital to demonstrate his art before the throne.
The palace. A different kind of battlefield, where wounds are invisible and the knives are words.
He traveled for a week through mud and war-torn villages, the glass ether bottle wrapped in oilcloth next to his heart. At the palace gates, he was met not by soldiers, but by a silent, robed physician who eyed him like a specimen. Beyond those golden doors, the Emperor waited, and with him, the men who would see Tomoya destroyed before they let a foreigner rewrite their craft. The audience chamber fell silent as Tomoya stepped onto the marble floor. 100 courtiers stared, and the Emperor leaned forward on his throne.
You are the battlefield surgeon who claims to make men sleep through the knife. Prove to this court that your art is not a fable.
Your Majesty, the vapor acts on the brain, severing all sensation. See here, the same principle that quiets the screaming soldier, quiets all pain in the body.
Such sleep is not medicine. It is the dark art. We have seen men wake with no memory of God. What potion steals the soul and leaves only breathing flesh?
Bring forward the soldier, Kale. Let the man himself speak to what he endured.
I saw the saw above my leg, felt nothing. I woke thinking I was dead, but I was alive, whole and without pain. That man gave me back my life.
One miracle does not a saint make. Perhaps the demon healed this one to damn 1,000 more. I demand a full inquiry into this foreign sorcery.
Then let there be an inquiry. Until the truth is judged, this surgeon shall not lift a blade within the Empire.
They will call it witchcraft. They will parade dead children and grieving mothers. All I can do is stand.
That night, in a cold stone chamber, Tomoya prepared his defense, while Cassian gathered witnesses purchased by grief and gold. The trial would be a slaughter, the inquiry convened under the imperial seal. Cassian rose first, his voice a poisoned silk. He presented a woman clutching a small blanket. Her child died on Tomoya's table. She sobbed, slain by the sleep that never ended.
The boy had a crushed chest. No art could save him, but 20 others with similar wounds now walk because of me.
20, saved by sorcery. A demon may heal a leg and feast on a soul. This court sees only the bodies left behind.
The nobles stirred. The Emperor's face tightened. Tomoya's numbers meant nothing against a mother's tears.
I ask only a final word before this court condemns me. Let me speak before the sentence falls.
Speak, surgeon. This court will hear your final accounting before it renders its judgment.
The room fell silent. Tomoya did not reach for his charts. Instead, he turned slowly to face the man who had called him demon.
Chief Physician Cassian, you speak of true medicine. Then let us settle this not with tears, but with the very pain you claim I cannot conquer.
The words hung in the air like a blade, a challenge no one expected, a gamble that would either shatter the trial or condemn him forever. Cassian's hand trembled at his side, a hidden agony now visible to the entire court.
A stone grows in your bladder, Chief Physician. I can remove it while you sleep, and you will wake healed.
This is the raving of a cornered animal. You know nothing of my health.
Then prove it. Submit to his knife, and we will see whose gods answer.
The court gasped. Cassian's eyes flickered. The trap he had set for another now snapped shut on him.
If I refuse, I am a coward. If I die, I am a martyr. But if I wake, I am wrong. So be it. But if one cry escapes me, his head is forfeit. Let it be witnessed.
You will wake in silence. I bet my life on it.
Workmen carried a surgical table into the courtroom. Cassian shed his rich robes, standing in plain linen before his peers. He lay on the cold wood. Tomoya's ether cloth hovered above his face. The trial hung on a breath. Tomoya pressed the cloth to Cassian's face. The physician's fingers twitched once, then slackened into true sleep. His knife found the perineum. No scream, no flinch, only the steady drip of carbolic water as Lena passed each boiled instrument.
The lithotomy is clean. No rupture. The stone is free.
Tomoya lifted his forceps from the wound. A jagged brown stone, slick with blood, glistened under the torchlight. The court gasped and recoiled. That twisted thing had grown inside the chief physician, and he had never cried out. Cassian's eyes fluttered open. He stared at the vaulted ceiling, then down at the sutured wound. No cry, no tears.
You are whole, Chief Physician. Do you feel any pain?
I felt nothing. It is as if I was not cut at all. What sorcery is this? I accused him of dark art, yet I now lie here healed. This stone was my prison, and he freed me without pain.
Emperor Valerius rose. The surgeon's life now rested on what Cassian would say next, and the old physician's trembling lips were the fulcrum of a new era.
Your Majesty, I have been the fool. The pain I bore, and the sleep I witnessed, this is no dark art. It is a gift.
Then let the record show. Tomoya stands cleared of all charges. His method is deemed medicine, not sorcery.
Cassian signed the recantation with shaking hand. The inks sealed his defeat as chief accuser.
But beware, young surgeon. The guild will not forgive this humiliation. They will strike from shadows.
I wagered my life to save soldiers, not win debates. Let the vipers hiss.
Tomoya strode from the chamber, 100 stairs following. Some grateful, many venomous.
The trial is over, but not the war. Cassian's allies will come now with knives in their sleeves.
Word crossed the border. The Empire's surgeon could heal the dying. Enemy generals now feared their own wounded returning to fight. At dawn, a bloodied messenger came. An assassin had been caught at the palace gate. Your name, the last word on his lips. Tomoya burned the note. The court's war had ended, but the war against his life was just beginning. In the capital's market, Tomoya walked among spice stalls and clinking coins. A cloaked figure slipped from the crowd, dagger aimed at his throat.
Get down.
The assassin was subdued by guards, but his eyes held no remorse. Only a whispered contract paid in enemy gold.
That was the third attempt this moon, and the enemy spreads a poison worse than blades. Pamphlets naming you demon, not doctor.
They fear what they don't understand. If I hide, the fear grows. The only cure is to show them. I'll perform surgery in the Grand Square, a simple painless extraction before the eyes of every citizen. No shadows, no sorcery.
They'll paint another target on your chest, but I'd rather stand beside you under the sun than hide in the dark forever.
I'll post my best men. Let them try to stop it, and we'll see who the people trust.
Workmen erected a stage in the great square. Rumors flew through the capital like startled pigeons. The sleep surgeon would perform for all. Tomoya stood at the edge of the platform the night before, staring at the empty scaffold. Tomorrow, he would carve truth into the heart of fear, or die trying. Days before the grand demonstration, Tomoya journeyed to a remote village where frightened faces greeted him with pitchforks and crumpled pamphlets.
I bring no curse. The sleep I give is mercy. Let me show you with clean hands, no potions, no sorcery.
A woman thrust a feverish child at his feet. Its arm was black with infection. Without ether or blade, Tomoya knelt and cleansed the wound with boiled linen.
There, little one. The pain will fade. See? Only kindness and clean cloth. No devil's work.
The crowd's murmur softened. The child's crying ceased. For the first time, the village elder lowered his scythe.
In the capital tomorrow, I will prove the sleep is no lie. Send one of your own to watch. Decide then if I am demon or doctor.
The elder nodded once. By sundown, 3 villagers, including the mother, had packed their meager belongings to follow the strange surgeon. They arrived at the capital just as the final planks were being nailed to the grand stage. The mother stared at the towering palace, then at Tomoya's back.
These 3 may be my first true congregation. Not soldiers, not nobles, the people. I will not fail them.
The sun would rise on the day of proof. The square would fill, and the simple faith of a few frightened villagers would be the first stone in a new foundation. Morning light flooded the grand square as thousands pressed toward the stage. Guards lined the perimeter, and Aldrich's watchful eyes missed nothing.
People of the Empire, I stand today to show you that suffering can be lifted. I will cut, and the man you see will not scream, he will not even blink.
A grizzled blacksmith pushed through, clutching his swollen jaw. I've pulled teeth with tongs before. Boy, prove your sorcery.
No sorcery, just sleep. Sit, and when I wake you, the tooth will be gone, and the pain with it.
Tomoya soaked the cloth cone and pressed it gently to the man's face. The blacksmith's clenched fists relaxed, and his eyes slid shut.
He is beyond pain. Now watch the truth.
His hand moved with practiced ease. A quick twist, a wet pop, and the bloody molar rose into the sunlight for all to see. The blacksmith stirred, tongue probing the empty socket. His eyes flew wide, not with pain, but pure amazement. A roar erupted, not of terror, but of joy. The mother from the village wept openly. In the palace balcony, Emperor Valerius rose to his feet, clapping. Tomoya did not bow or boast. He merely set down the forceps and looked out over 1,000 faces, finally unafraid. The war for trust was not over, but it had just been won. Emperor Valerius stepped to the balcony's edge and raised his hand. The roar of the crowd hushed into a trembling silence.
Witness what you have seen. Pain conquered, fear broken. Henceforth, the sleep of ether shall be the law of this empire's medicine. Tomoya of the Field Hospital, you shall be my chief royal surgeon. Let the standard of your genius fly over every surgical tent.
The crowd surged like a breaking wave. Flowers rained onto the stage. The genius banner snapped high in the wind. In the shadow of a colonnade, Cassian watched, arms crossed, but a single nod conceded the day. Soldiers hoisted Tomoya onto their shoulders. Kale, steadied on his wooden leg, laughed openly among them.
This is not the end. It is the first real step. I will train them. I will build a college where pain is not a given.
That evening, in the torched courtyard of the palace, the First Order was carved into law. Every field hospital would have its ether master.
Your system will not stop at the front. We will build a college of healing, and you will shape its charter.
Tomoya bowed, but his mind raced forward. The enemies of the Empire would not wait, and the shadows that had tried to kill him would only grow darker. In a formal ceremony before the assembled court, the Emperor placed the golden sash of the Chief Royal Surgeon across Tomoya's chest. The genius standard was nailed to every field hospital that very hour.
This sash is not a reward. It is a weight. I am responsible for every life that passes under a surgeon's hand now.
Within a season, the Imperial Medical College opened its doors. Tomoya stood before the first class of wide-eyed students, a chalkboard covered in anatomy behind him.
You will learn to cut where others fear, because you will learn to stop pain first. That is the true surgeon's courage. Not enduring screams, but ending them.
Boil every cloth, every blade. The invisible enemy kills more than the enemy's arrows. Sterility is our shield.
General Aldrich entered the college unannounced, a rolled parchment in hand. His scarred face split into a rare grin.
Tomoya, the latest casualty logs. Your system has cut the dead by half again. Soldiers who would have rotted in tents are back in the line. We are winning because of you.
Every number is a life returned. But the enemy will adapt. They will target the hospitals, the ether stores, the students. This war is changing shape.
On the war map, Imperial markers pushed forward. Wounded soldiers returned to the fray faster than the enemy could replenish. The tide had turned, but Tomoya stood apart from the celebration. His eyes traced not the lines of victory, but the shadows where enemy agents would next strike. The cost of genius was not yet fully paid. The attack came at the witching hour. Saboteurs slipped through the ward with oil and flint, aiming for the ether stores. Tomoya was roused by the clash of steel. Aldrich's perimeter guards had caught one, but flames already licked the linen shed.
Move the wounded to the central hall. Use wet blankets to smother the fire. Lena, the ether, get it to safety.
Nurses and walking wounded formed a bucket chain. Tomoya himself dragged 3 patients from the smoke before the flames died. The saboteurs were caught, but one had gashed a wounded enemy prisoner in his cot. Bleeding, the man stared up at Tomoya in terror.
He is a patient now. Prepare the ether. His leg will rot if not cleaned.
The enemy soldier sobbed as the mask descended, then stilled. When he woke, his wound was stitched and clean, and Tomoya was already moving to the next cot. An enemy officer, wounded and captured, witnessed the act. He stumbled forward, not to fight, but to kneel. The officer spoke, and the words spread like fire. The surgeon of the Empire does not see colors, only wounds. You cannot kill such a man. By morning, the hospital stood, and in the enemy camps, the name Tomoya was no longer a target. It was a legend that no blade could touch. The bells of peace rang across the capital. Emperor Valerius stood before the people and declared the war ended, and his surgeon had carried the army on his shoulders.
Your Majesty, let us not hoard mercy. Give the former enemy our blueprints. Let ether sleep in every clinic, and no soldier need ever scream again.
Some of the old guild hissed, but the Emperor raised his hand. The gift would be given, and the Empire's genius would be the world's.
You must watch the breath, slow and steady. The ether is a friend, not a tyrant. Master it, and you master pain.
On the border, a joint hospital rose, stone from both nations. Staffed by students of the Imperial College and healers from the former foe. A banner read, "Pain is our only enemy."
This is the real victory, not the land, not the glory. These walls will save more lives than any battalion.
I called you demon, but you fathered a new era of medicine. I am the last of my kind, and I am grateful.
The old physician knelt, not to the Emperor, but to the truth, and the rest of the guild, one by one, followed. From the frozen north to the desert kingdoms, letters arrived. Come teach. The man who had been a target became a prophet of painlessness. He packed only his ether bottle and a cloth mask. The war was over, but the war against pain had truly begun. Years passed. The battlefield that once echoed with screams lay silent under a sea of red poppies. An old man with silver-streaked hair walked alone among them.
Here, I heard my first scream. Here, I gave my first sleep. How many thousands since?
A young man with a polished leg brace approached. He stood straight, then hesitantly saluted. The sleep surgeon. He whispered, "My father walked again. Because of you, I walk now because of what you taught. Thank you."
Then every sleepless night was worth it. Go well, soldier.
The soldier nodded, turned, and limped away into the poppies. Tomoya watched him go, then turned his gaze skyward.
I never asked for glory. I only wanted to stop one scream. That was enough.
Behind him, the old tent had become a shrine. A bronze statue held the ether mask high. Children played at its feet, hearing legends of the man who conquered pain. Tomoya turned from the statue and walked the open road alone. The sun set low and birds scattered into the golden air. His silhouette faded. But where pain had once reigned alone, now there was sleep and hope and a name that would never vanish. In the Imperial Medical Museum, an aged Tomoya paused before a glass case. Inside, his original ether bottle and cloth mask rested on velvet, beneath a plaque, the gift of sleep.
I held that bottle in the mud and smoke. Now it's behind glass like a saint's relic. How strange to outlive your own hands.
In a nearby alcove, a holographic projection flickered, his own recorded voice, younger, lecturing on the synthesis of ether from the college archives. A group of children gathered around him, one tugging his sleeve. "Old sir," the boy asked, "is it true you were called a demon?"
I was, but the truth was stronger than their fear.
Another child asked, "Will anyone ever be afraid of doctors again?"
Not if you remember that pain is not a test of courage. It is a thing to be fought.
He stayed until the museum closed, then walked out alone into the cool night.
I was just a man who remembered another world, but this one will remember for me.
Above him, the brightest star seemed to watch, and the night was kind. The star rise gave way to a new dawn over the capital, and in the light, the Empire stirred to the hum of a changed world. In a clean, white-tiled ward, a young woman breathed into an ether mask, her eyes fluttering shut without fear. A trained nurse adjusted the drip, her movements as calm as prayer. On the far border, a former enemy general knelt with his wounded son, watching an Imperial surgeon induce the sleep. The father wept, not from sorrow, but from the silence that replaced screams. The great square, once a stage for a single tooth, now held 1,000 white ununiformed students graduating under the banner of the sleeping man. In the museum, the original ether bottle rested. Beside it, a single poppy from the field where it all began. The old surgeon had vanished into the roads, but his shadow stretched infinitely. Over every hospital, every school, every battlefield now sown with flowers. And so, the Empire earned its most feared surgeon. Not for the blood he spilled, but for the pain he stole away. And the soldiers who rose to fight again. From the first scream, he stilled to the last life he trained. Tomoya did not conquer death, only its cruelty, and that was enough to change the world. His name became a standard, his method a law. And in the silence of every sleeping patient, the echo of his genius kept its watch. The war against pain goes on. But because of one man, it is a war we are winning. A letter arrived from the eastern steppes, inked in a trembling hand. A former enemy, who once sent assassins, now sent a plea for teachers.
Even the hand that held a blade against me now writes for mercy. This is the only victory that matters.
The letter enclosed a rough sketch, a white stone hospital rising from the grassland, the genius banner painted above its door. Beside it, another parchment bore the seal of a southern kingdom. A grateful queen wrote that her only son walked again, and her court would adopt the ether.
Pain is the same in every tongue. So is gratitude.
He folded the letters and placed them in a simple wooden chest next to his original ether bottle, relics of a world he had remade. Far away, in a white-tiled classroom, a young instructor pointed to a chalk drawing of the ether mask, her voice carrying his words. "Remember this principle," she said. "The first duty of a surgeon is not to cut, it is to stop the scream." On that same morning, a child in the capital looked up at the bronze statue and asked her mother, "Who was he?" The mother smiled, "A man who loved us enough to fight pain itself." And on a distant hill, An old man with ice-blue eyes watched the sun set over the empire he had healed, knowing the night would come gently now. The museum quieted after dark, the glass case holding the ether bottle and mask gleaming alone. A night guard paused, closing his eyes for a moment of silence. Under the statue, a single poppy was laid every morning. No one knew who left it, but it was always fresh. In every hospital, the banner stirred faintly in the ventilation's breath. The word genius had become a promise, not a boast. In a clinic far from the capital, a grandmother breathed the ether for a cataract surgery. She woke, seeing her grandchildren's faces for the first time in years. The old battlefield had become a garden. Children flew kites where soldiers had once screamed. The poppies nodded in the breeze. In the college, a student raised her hand. "Professor, how did one man change so much?" The answer was written on the wall. He stopped the first scream. The road stretched on, empty now, but lined with markers bearing the genius symbol. Every league, a hospital, every town, a clinic. Tomoya never saw most of it, but on that hill, with the wind in his gray hair, he felt the silence he had sown. When he opened them, the first stars were appearing, and the brightest among them seemed to pulse with the rhythm of a sleeping world. He was a man from another world who gave this one a gift, and on a battlefield of screams, he planted a silence that would bloom forever. On the hill, the old man sat until the stars were thick. The breeze brought the scent of poppies and the faint echo of a distant lullaby. He did not sleep. He simply closed his eyes and listened to the silence he had brought to this world. Across the empire, in 1,000 white rooms, 1,000 patients strew their first painless breath, and none of them screamed. The museum's light stayed on all night, the little glass bottle glowing like a hearth for the wounded of a war now ended, and the statue, standing where the first tent had been, held its silent vigil. Rain, sun, and snow had polished the bronze until it gleamed. The road that had carried him away was now lined with saplings, each one planted by a surgeon he had trained. And on the hill, the old man's breathing slowed. The wind carried a single poppy petal across his hand. When dawn came, he did not rise, but the sunrise was not cold. It was the same gold that had lit the first surgery he ever stilled. And so the man who conquered pain slipped into the sleep he had granted millions. No fear, no scream, only silence. The brightest star had fallen, but the night would never be as dark again. For in every hospital, someone watched over the sleepers, and the war against pain went on.